The Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Rice Initiative for Climate-Smart Agriculture is a project implemented in Kenya and Uganda with the aim of promoting sustainable rice production practices. In Uganda, the project is being implemented in eastern Uganda as a pilot through Kilimo Trust with funding from R4iCSA Foundation of the Netherlands. The objective of the project is for stakeholders in the value chain to understand whether the initiatives are sustainable and commercially viable, and also to promote sustainable rice production systems. Anthony Mugambi is the R4iCSA project leader.
This project is aimed at, first of all, ensuring that we have evidence of empirical evidence. Basically, we are supposed to collect empirical evidence and publish it on basically use and reuse and recycling of rice byproducts, particularly the two byproducts of husks and rice straws. So we want to show that those kind of initiatives, first of all, are sustainable, they are commercially viable through empirical evidence. But also secondly, we also want to promote sustainable rice production systems by the various rice value chain actors.
Although rice is considered a high-value crop, it is one of the contributors to the effects of climate change because its fields emit greenhouse gases, methane and carbon dioxide arising from anaerobic respiration. Because production is bound to increase, climate-smart and regenerative agriculture practices are being introduced in the rice value chain by the project, such as recycling rice husks into biochar, mainly used as fuel, and organic fertilizer, or as carbon sink to reduce such effects.
Of course, rice contributes to climate change in a big way, particularly with the increased adoption of rice production. There is a lot of production of greenhouse gases like methane from the rice fields. And one of the ways to promote and also to ensure that we have climate smart production is ensuring that we reduce some of these greenhouse gases, such as methane, carbon dioxide, for instance. For instance, you've seen when we've been moving out to the field, you've seen a lot of some of our partners now using or reusing the rice husks to produce biochar.
Private sector players that embraced the production of biochar since 2019 include Bongmin Group Limited, headed by Mr. Andrew Ebong.
The word biochar means charcoal. Charcoal from waste. Just char is charcoal. So in this case, biochar of rice husk is charcoal made from rice husk. Biochar has a lot of benefits. Number one, biochar, as I said, is a water retainer. It holds water for a longer time. Number two, biochar enhances microbial activities. The microbial activities in the long run enhances the soil structure. It improves the soil structure, soil aerations and so on. Biochar is a buffer, soil pH buffer. When it is, it is towards neutral. When the pH is acidic, it brings it towards what? Toward alkaline. So it's a pH buffer. Number four is that biochar is a carbon sink. It's a carbon sink. What that means is that if you plant it with a coffee tree, it enhances the coffee tree to remove carbon from the atmosphere as much as possible and fix it into the soil.
The group has so far supplied 6 tons of biochar to New Cafe, a coffee farmers organization, and are still supplying to date. The organization uses biochar to raise coffee seedlings that are given to their members. To promote enriched biochar, the team has set up demonstration gardens near their production plant so as to monitor performance of the product as well as build confidence among potential clients.
Some of our clients may require enriched biochar, but to develop the market, people want to see, then they begin to believe. And we want to champion the scene how the enriched biochar will work. And that's why we chose it, that we first use it ourselves as a demonstration for other clients who have been taking biochar as it is, that actually the enriched biochar is much better than the one which is not plain, which is not enriched.
So you take one unit of well decomposed farmyard manure plus 1 unit of biochar plus 1 unit of soil. Then you ensure that you mix them thoroughly. As you can see, when it is thoroughly mixed, you can utilize it in your garden.
Biochar, whether enriched or not, is an important soil enhancement that promotes crop growth, as explained by Dr. Lawrence Owere, the Director, Buginyanya Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute.
So for biochar, we have tried it not only in rice, but even with maize. It works, and it even works better if it is, let me say, enriched. Because biochar per se, it will mainly support the biological and probably the physical activities of the soil, but not mainly the chemical. So in that matter, we can enrich it with the required nutrients. You will discover that yes, Eastern Uganda is the biggest producing region for rice, but the productivity is still low. So all these technologies we are trying to look for is to help us increase productivity.
In view of his findings as a research scientist, Dr. Lawrence Owere believes the project is on the course to meeting the intended objectives. Apart from biochar, the project is promoting rice legume integration to enhance fertility, but also reduce the use of nitrogen-based fertilizers by 20%, as proven by research.
In terms of reducing the use of external fertilizers, and particularly N or nitrogen-based fertilizers, we are promoting what we are calling rice legume integration, where we are rotating our rice crop with a leguminous crop so that we are able to fix at least 20% of the nitrogen requirements in the field, so that we reduce on the use of external nitrogen.
We want to break that cycle of farmers planting rice after rice after rice after rice, because definitely that will encourage build-up of pests, it will encourage build-up of diseases and nutrient mining from the soil. So through this project, there are 2 or 3 activities. One of them is that we shall do a kind of crop rotational approach, whereby we can be able to break that cycle of rice, and then we rotate with a legume crop, because we know that legumes, they fix nitrogen in the soil, in addition to other nutrients.
Whereas rice comes from numerous benefits, its propagation and production is a labor-intensive venture and requires a highly skilled workforce during land preparation, planting, and processing to ensure order and to realize maximum productivity. This gap was identified by Bongmin Group Limited, leading to introduction of the agricultural wage worker model in the rice production under the R4iCSA project.
Bongmin Group, through the agricultural wage worker model, trains young men whom they recruit into their system. And the way they work is that these young men are trained through a period of 1 to 2 weeks on the several practices. But the difference is that this labor that they are providing is skilled labor. And because of that, the farmers who are clients to Bongmin Group, for whom this youth work, are able to realize good yields on their farms.
What brought us to begin the business of labor supply is the need that we realized from the farmers, because farmers would wish to go in for rice production. Some of them would wish to go in for rice on large scale, but what would limit them majorly was labor. Rice is a tedious crop, more so in management. So we realized if we came up to supply labor to the farmers. Very many will be encouraged to grow rice.
So the training that they got in a transplanting rice is the skills. One, they have to know how many seedlings are they supposed to transplant. Two, they have to know how to separate them. Three, they have to know how to transplant to make it enter the soil.
Because of that, we're going to have improved productivity of the rice crop because the agronomic practices are right. When we talk about fertilizer application, when we talk about chemical application, these are done effectively.
Since they got the skill, they have really changed because someone can get in a week 250,000 a week when he has transplanted the rice.
So all I did is to talk to them, and I contracted them to help me with this rice planting and rice farming. Their work is extraordinary for sure, because I didn't expect this in Uganda here. Yeah, I didn't totally expect it. Their work is too good. They work as if it's their own, and they want to make sure that at least you get what you want from the garden.
The model that is being promoted for the first time in eastern Uganda is likely to increase rice production in the region. Though still in its pilot phase in Uganda, the project has been able to increase uptake of sustainable rice production practices like efficient use of water and utilization of soil nutrients. Farmers can now practice intermittent flooding of their rice fields and are also rotating the crops with leguminous crops for nutrition, income, and increased soil fertility.